talking about?
He
We'll
got
take a
me
trip
on the
down
first.
memory lane.
I thought he was gonna make a bad analogy here, like as though there's like, some sort of like simply aesthetic difference between leftists and liberals, and it turns out actually liberals cannot address the fundamental issues with the centrism pivot that keeps yielding negative consequences for the American population.
Do you remember when Obama won re-election and the Democrats had the House and the Senate, and there was this idea floating around that the Republican Party was dead and that the Tea Party was the last gaseous fart from the corpse of conservative ideals, and that we were about to enter a liberal utopia, and Hillary Clinton was the nominee, and it was finally time to elect a woman president? Do you remember what happened after that? Trump won. And then 4 years later, we propped up the creaky corpse of Biden, and it was the end of Trump. And then when Biden won, he, of course, prosecuted Trump and put a heavy emphasis on repairing the country through a massive outreach to disenfranchised working-class voters. No, that's not what happened at all. We slid right back into the world of milquetoast neoliberalism, of Washington passing legislation that would allow Democrats to fawn, while the real-world problems of the working class didn't seem to change that much. And we threw our hands up and blamed the slow tide of change in politics, the need for tempered incrementalism, the delicate balance of governmental powers. And those 4 years slid right by, and then we had Kamala Harris as the nominee, and we were ready to elect the first woman president and usher in that liberal utopia. And where have I heard this one before? Oh, I know how this one ends. Yep, Trump won. And so do you see the cycle? From Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden to Trump, all of these presidents and candidates stood at podiums and promised change and a better future, and then got elected and continued to prop up the same capitalist system that has disenfranchised working class people since its inception. And that's because the system benefits these people. All of them sat at conference tables with billionaires and super PACs and outlined agendas that wouldn't fundamentally change the status quo of this country, because that status quo propped them up. And so inevitably, when these politicians put forth legislation that did not do enough to meaningfully impact...
God damn. That's some great epoxy and woodworking right there, man. No notes. I mean, no notes at all.
the lives of working class people, those people abandoned the Democratic Party and fell into the warm arms of a lying Republican Party willing to run on populism and deceit. And that is why a lot of folks are very wary of a Newsom or Shapiro or Buttigieg run in 2028, because those folks are not going to work against this system. They are going to be the next iteration of the Obama-Biden-Harris monster, and when they inevitably fail to address the lived reality of American citizens, the Republican Party is going to spawn Trump 2.0, and that'll be the ball game. So yeah, it is way too early for these fucking conversations right now, but as we head into the primaries this year, it is of dire import that we do not elect the candidates that the DCCC wants. The only way to adequately address the epidemic of disenfranchisement in this country is by purging ourselves of the establishment that got us here in the first place, and whether or not that can be done at the ballot